Now we're going to get to the March 15th part here in just a second, which is the most negative thing. All right, y'all, I'm headed to the Commonwealth cabin here today. You know, if today was March 15th, I'd be a little bit lighter in the pocket with these sales we have today. We've got a ton of sales headed out of here today. I want to show you those, but I want to talk about the eBay changes that are taking place really soon as well. Let's go take a look. For those of you that don't know, I am talking about the eBay winter update, and I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know. There's a lot of times in the winter that comes out and it's apocalyptic, right? Haven't seen too much of that, and I don't think this one is either, but there are some things I think we should talk about. And I know this is a little late. I usually wait and let people digest it a little bit before I comment about something, but I want to talk about it today and talk about these sales as well as we're going through this video. Here's a Cypress Hill cassette tape, not sealed, $12.95 plus shipping. Now I want to talk about these things like in between each item today. We could be shipping out 40 things today. We're going to cut that in half and do about 20 of them, but we have 40 sales for $1,752 and change. And one of them is this Game Boy Advance right here. You might remember this, the Highway 21 sale. Turner found this. I walked right past it. Turner's like, why not this? I'm like, okay. So thank you, Turner. This one sold for $64.95 plus shipping. I always find it interesting when I'm reading things coming from eBay, the order of the way they present those things. And of course, all the good things are at the top, and the things that you might not like too much are at the bottom. And that's definitely what they did with this update. Whenever these updates come up, I always scour through the Facebook groups and the comments on YouTube videos and see how people react. And this time I only saw 2 people that said this is the end, I'm not gonna do eBay anymore. And a lot of times it's far more than that, so I think that's kind of funny. That pet safe right there, we've had that in the closet in the loft out there in the death pile den for over a year. Finally pulled it out, finally listed it, sold it very quickly for $100 plus shipping. And somebody's really happy that that's gone, huh? Except for you got your own right there, don't you? That's right, because you're a wanderer. It just started raining out there. You can hear it on the roof. I also found it funny. Now, I'm a history teacher, so dates to me are really, they're kind of embedded in my mind. And March 15th, for those of you that don't know, that's the Ides of March, the middle of March. That's when Caesar was betrayed, depending on which point of view you take on that. I'm not a big Caesar fan at all. But that's when he was stabbed to death by Brutus and Cassius and a whole slew of other senators, if you know that in history. And I'm like, why would anybody release something on the Ides of March with such context? But I guess there's no historians running eBay. Now we're going to get to the March 15th part here in just a second, which is the most negative thing. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm not going to go through all of this stuff. A lot of it's just, it's not all that significant, to be honest with you. But, you know, there's things, improved tools to help you grow your business, sell faster, recommendations, easier access to sale events. All wonderful, great stuff. You know, I'm sure it's magical. Run your business more efficiently. This is cool to me. Drafts of your listings. And this is not a big deal for a lot of people. But they'll be now saved for 75 days after they're updated. So previously, I think, and I might have this wrong, but I had it in my mind that it was 30 days. And then you could, after 30 days, you know, you could do something, or sometime during that 30 days, you could adjust the listing in some way in drafts and it would reset it for another 30 days. What I wasn't aware of is that there's a total of 75 days. So if you did that 3 times, it's gone. So I didn't know that. But now apparently you can keep those drafts for a long time. 75 days will now be saved for 75 days after they're updated. So you can update them again. They'll be saved for another 75 days. That may not be a big deal to some people. It is a big deal to me because of the way we do our listings out there. We put tons of stuff in drafts. So sometimes when we're doing those, you know, you've probably done this before, if you list using drafts. Some people will list the item right there. They take the pictures, they do the listings, they don't do drafts. I do drafts for multiple reasons. I don't need to go into those right now. Whatever the case may be, there's a whole slew of reasons why you might not want to list something right there. To be able to adjust it and to keep it in drafts. And then I go down and I take care of all that stuff at one time. Matter of fact, I have to do that later today on 4 items that have been in drafts for a while. I've waited till we've got a little handful, and then I'm going to take care of all of those at the same time. So that's not a huge big deal, but it is a plus. Definitely a benefit here. This is a cool item that I didn't know if I wanted to keep for myself or not. It's a VHS rack that you can drill into the wall, just like that cassette one back there. And I almost kept it for myself, and I decided in the end not to, and listed it for $34.95 plus shipping. Not huge for the work that goes into it, but you know, if I wasn't going to keep it, I was certainly going to sell it, and we ended up selling it pretty quick. Not too bad. It wasn't on the site for too long. $34.95 plus shipping. Another plus I saw in there was seller offers are now going to have immediate pay options on there, which is really cool. So there's another plus. I had a big buyout of Harley stuff from Mike Death Pile Picker, and then not long after that, I had 2 huge buys myself, and this one came from that. Look at how great that looks, like it's brand new. 2XL Harley. One of them had Lynchburg on it, but this one does not. And this one sold, I have no idea what this sold for, $59.95 plus shipping. I don't film in here very often, but somebody asked, so I figured I'd pull this one right here. We've been selling a lot of these Nike dry fits that we bought down in Florida. And this one is a size medium right here. We keep them in these little wraps, like mediums, smalls, larges. I can't remember. There's 4 different sizes, or 5. I don't even remember at this point, but they're selling pretty good. This one sold again, $19.95 plus shipping. We're into them for around $1. Can't beat that. Y'all, in between clips, Turner came in, the phone rang, Turner left, Wallen came in, Wallen left, and No Name came in. It's a rough day in here. Anyway, this one might not apply to a whole ton of you. I think there's 2 more positives, I guess. Security enhancements added to multi-user account access, which is big for a lot of folks who run a big operation. We do anything but run a big operation. And so I don't have special, employees that have accounts and that can access stuff and something like that, If Bubba's girlfriend needs to get on there to do a draft or something while she's at her house or have a break at school or something, then she can definitely just log into mine. Back in the eBay cave, and this is the one sold a Fender Rock Band guitar. This one sold for $25 plus shipping. Looks like the shed got taken over one more time here. This one is not the detachable kind, so this one's a little bit harder to ship, but not impossible. We're going to get to the negatives here after this one and one more sale, but this one is cool. I like this one. So getting access to your sold items data is an important business resource. Now using Terapeak, you can access the last 3 years of sold items data. We've also refined product research results by excluding invalid sales, such as unpaid or canceled items. That's a good thing to have as well, especially with all the fake sales that are out there with these ridiculous prices and stuff. That stuff, if it gets canceled, it gets removed, and that is something that's key. From the sold results, stay tuned. We're also working on more ways to access data on mobile, and that's Terapeak on mobile. That would be a huge benefit for me anyways, because I do almost everything on my phone with the exception of shipping. And I would suggest, if you have a minute and you haven't already, going through and reading it. I think it's a pretty good update. It could be a lot worse than this, but I'm going to get to the bad part. There's a couple more. I'm trying to think of them. It's been a while since I read it, but I know they had to do with the mobile app. That's what I was excited about. Oh, I know what it is. You can search by SKU in the mobile app, which doesn't help me because I don't use SKUs, but you can also search by buyer, and that could help combine orders and stuff like that. See, I don't use SKUs, and tomorrow I have a story about something that I screwed up, and maybe I should use SKUs, but I'm not ever going to do it. So college hats right here. So I'm going to find the college hat that I need and show it to you. I set the camera down for just a second and then pulled that out a little bit, looked in there, and it was the 4th hat back. And it's way better than digging in here. Plus the hats are staying in better shape, so I'm loving this system. This Kentucky hat right here. That one, I don't see anything that's incredible on it, but it sold for $15.95 plus shipping. So let's talk about the bad for a minute. And it's not apocalyptic, but you'd prefer not to have any of this stuff in there whatsoever. But there's some realities to this, I suppose. And I certainly would not have released it on March 15th. eBay, if you're listening, for all us history nerds out there. you know, stabbing us in the back on, you know, it's not all that, I suppose. But there are a few people upset about it, and I think it could have been far, far worse. They did alleviate one segment, which there's some hidden good news in here, I suppose. Our pre-order fee is changing. We've kept our pre-order fee consistent since we started processing payments in 2020. That was the shift from PayPal to managed payments, which, you want to talk about apocalyptic, boy, there were some people up in arms. And I was not at the time. I actually liked it. I still like it. Way better than dealing with PayPal and eBay on some issues. You still have to, depending on how you do your business. But due to rising costs, we're making an adjustment to this fee. This change will enable us to continue to improve our marketplace so you and your buyers can have the best experience on eBay. Starting on March 15th, 2024, the pre-order fee on orders over $10 will increase from 30 cents to 40 cents across all categories. For example, if you sell a trading card for $25, here's the little hidden part, including shipping and tax. So that's the total order over $10. It's not that you can list something for $9.99 plus shipping and not have to pay it. You have to still pay it. But it would, I suppose, change people's listings. I'm getting into the weeds here. You know, if you go 1 penny over that $10, you got to pay 10 cents. If you're 1 penny under it, you don't have to pay the 10 cents extra. So maybe you should pay attention to that if you're pinching pennies that badly, I suppose. So if you sell a trading card for $25, including shipping and tax, you'll now pay a fee of $3.71 instead of $3.61, an increase of 10 cents. So that's the total increase in fees for the particular item, you know, the selling fee and the processing fee and all that stuff. So we understand this change could impact the economics of selling lower priced items, and it certainly could. I mean, if you're selling $5 items out there, 10 cents is a chunk of your margin, right? That's why for orders $10 and under, there'll be no change, and you'll continue to be charged the current rate of 30 cents. So anything over $10. Just give you an example here. We're going to ship out around 20 things today. Almost all of them, maybe even all of them, I'm not quite sure what's coming down the pike here, are going to be over $10. Matter of fact, I'm pretty safe to say that every single one will be over 10. So that's 10 more cents on every single thing that's headed out of here today. That's $2 more. So there's definitely money out of my pocket here. Is it the end all and be all? No. But it will add up. I mean, if you sell, I don't know, let's do some math. Say you sell 5,000 things a year. And I know a lot of you, that's not even close. I'm just trying to give some round numbers here. We don't sell 5,000 things a year. But we do sell, say, 2,500 things a year. I'm pretty safe to say we're selling that right now, for sure. I mean, 10 cents for every single one of those transactions, that really does add up. So that's $250. So it's not totally insignificant, you know, with all the pressures that people see and feel and the fees that they're already paying and the pressure to do promoted listings and all that, you know, all that stuff adds up. And, you know, I talk about things that I think are really important to resellers like my reseller Genie, or if you want to cross list, you know, those are all added costs. Now, I think I'm depending on how you use them, both of those things should pay for themselves if you're using them consistently in the way you should be using them. Though, well, my reseller Genie will undoubtedly, well, I'm not doing an ad on it. You get my point. All these things are adding up. And this is just one more tiny little thing, but you multiply it out over the course of a year, it's actually a pretty significant charge for people who are selling a ton of volume. I guess you just have to decide here. The added value they're bringing you, is it worth 10 cents a sale? No, but I suppose it could be worse. So this one right here is a single stitch Winston Cup shirt. I was surprised at the value, to be perfectly honest with you. This one sold for $30 for shipping. You know, I'm hoping for around 3,000 sales next year. That's a pretty good chunk of change for sure. And some of them won't be over $10 because we do have a few things that are under. But, you know, I would just like to see a little bit of solidarity at some point, at 1 year in the future, where they just don't raise anything. I just think it would be amazing if they could find it in their model to do that. I almost didn't list those Jeep mats. Bought them over a year ago. They were in the death pile, and I just looked at them like, ugh. But, you know, I'm like, I know they have value. They're Jeep Wrangler rubber weather mats. and I think we listed them for like 90 bucks plus shipping. And somebody sent me an offer for 60 right after I listed them. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking it. I'm getting them out of here. By the way, this was a repeat buyer. I didn't see any comments, I don't think, from anybody that bought something today, but I did see a couple of repeat buyers. So there may be a few viewer sales in that 20 today. I mentioned that being a repeat buyer because so is this one. And I think there's one more today. So I guess I should name these people. Wayne was one of them. That's Wayne who bought this. It says repeat buyer. So Wayne, if you're a viewer, thank you. $10 plus shipping on the Macy's Aflac Christmas duck. I'm gonna thank Shane and Johnny as well. You know, I don't know sometimes if people are repeat. I get repeat buyers. I got repeat buyers long before I started doing YouTube. I've been selling on eBay for 22 years. You oftentimes will get some repeat buyers, but I just like to say thank you just in case. And I'm happy we sold another Family Guy. So we are, look at that. I mean, we listed all these in like 2 days and we sold bins and bins and bins of them. And this is all we have left right here. Maybe I ought to put these on clearance or pull them and put them on whatnot or something. Give me an offer, maybe I'll sell them to you. Because I'd like to get this bin out of here. Well, it was a great sale. And this one sold for $21.95 for Mort Series 4 plus shipping. I want to make a couple more comments because, you know, I was reading in some other people's comments who made videos about the winter update and looking in Facebook groups. And there's one thing I think a lot of people have missed. So some people are defending eBay in this and saying, hey, you know, this is, you know, we got away really cheap on this. Well, I mean, I suppose if you sell 1,000 things a year, it's going to cost you $100. You know, it's not free. It's not the end of the world. And I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not going to stop me from doing eBay for darn sure. And I'm glad they kept items under 10 because, I mean, think about that for a second. You know, that's a pretty good little chunk of change right there. That's a 1% increase on a $10 item, which, like I said, not the end of the world. But, you know, they think about inflation, right? As inflation goes up, that means all items are going to go up. You know, all inflation isn't created equal. Certain sectors have more inflation than others. And I would probably venture to guess that there has not been significant inflation on these type of items. So they're not necessarily making a ton more based on inflation going up and taking a bigger percentage. But they certainly are on some categories, without a doubt. I mean, just think about car parts or cars in general. I mean, some big ticket items, those things still see inflation for sure. And the price of shipping has gone up as well, and they're collecting a percentage of the shipping portion as well. So their revenues are going to increase. I would just love for them, and they probably do, but in my mind, I would love for them to strategize a way to increase people coming to the platform to buy and increase sales, collect the same amount of fees they always have and make more revenue. Right? It just thinks about, you know, the economic debates we used to have when looking at cultures and world history, and we used to get down to taxes and whatever, and I would always quote this, you know, you get more of what you tax, you get less of what you tax, and you get more of what you subsidize. And essentially that's what this is. They're charging you to be a seller and to sell. And if that continues to go up, not at a 10-cent rate, but if it goes up significantly, you'll have less and less sellers, and therefore you'll have less and less buyers as well. And of course, if you choose to subsidize something, which is an encouragement to sell, you're going to get more and more of that. And you've seen eBay do that in certain categories that they wanted to dominate. They did it on shoes not too long ago, if you recall. And so they're picking and choosing. So what I've got this whole comment about is kind of narrowing down one good part of this increase of 10 cents. And all the other stuff is good, so I'm not complaining. I'm happy with all that stuff. But the other thing I think that is key is they're not signaling by this increase of 10 cents on 10 and above. They're not signaling that we don't want low-priced items. And that was the speculation for a long time, is eBay does not want people to sell low-priced items because they're not making enough money on them. There's a hassle. There's a lot of personnel involved in issues and feedback and returns and stuff on those low-dollar items. But they're not signaling with this decision that they don't want that. They realize that selling low-dollar items is valuable to their platform. And especially when they use the card example, they put that in there for a reason, because trading cards is a huge, huge part of their business. And I think that that was a wise decision on their part. But there are so many categories that I think apply to under $10 that I used to sell tons of, and I still do sell a bunch of. And I've got quite a few things like the ET pins and the do-rag little skull cap things back there that will be under that $10 limit. Some 100 Dalmatians, y'all, sell pretty good. You got to be careful. This is an older one right here. Disneyland, Disney World. And that Dalmatian right there, not too bad. 20 bucks plus shipping. So another one of these. We've been selling these for $7.95 plus shipping. These baseball cubes, and they're going pretty darn quick. We're not making a whole bunch of money on them, and we'll be making 10 cents less on them here pretty quick, but I'll take these sales. They won't be around too long. Hey, I wanted to tell you two things right here. First is this right here is a gift that somebody sent me here. P&W Crafty Lady, that's Facebook and Instagram and Etsy. NW Celebrity Hunter Mike's eBay. Thank you for all that you do for the reselling community. That's Susan and Mike. And it looks like there might be a note on the top part of that, so I should probably read that. But check this out. Look what they sent me. I'm going to make sure that gets framed somewhere, and we're going to put that up. That is extremely generous. One thing I never thought would happen when I started making YouTube videos is people would send me amazing stuff like this. And I'm just walking back to look at this one here. How cool is that one? That was from a long time ago, and we do appreciate you very much. But I have one more other thing I want to announce really quick here, because today is March 7th. It should be anyways. I got my days right, which means we are going live on Whatnot tonight. We are giving this away. Go through that link below if you never have. I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well, but you can go through CommonwealthPicker.com, find that link in affiliates. If you go through there, you get some free money to spend, but you can also come on over, and if you're over there, we're going to give this away to somebody over there is going to win it. Brand new Apple iWatch in the package. And we've got all kinds of great stuff. Special guests as well. Come and join us this evening over on Whatnot. If you're watching this the next day, I'm sorry you missed it. But you can still join us because we're going to be doing a ton of other Whatnots over there as well. Use that link. All right, y'all. We're not going to do Commonwealth Comedy today, but I want to show you something because Turner has been working really hard. I pay him $1 to save, $1 to spend, $1 to donate. And he also gets a little bit of money for telling jokes on the Whatnots and stuff. And he saved up a bunch of money, and he wanted to buy himself a new bat for his new baseball season. And of course, we like buying used. We like buying on eBay, supporting other eBay sellers. And so we searched and searched, and this is the bat he chose right here. And he bought it from Batman Bats right there. And there he is right there. I'll let you check out his store right there. And actually, you made an offer on a bat, didn't you? Mm-hmm. And we didn't get a reply. He was away. And then when he got back, sent us a message and said, hey, you know, that bat is no longer available. And he felt a little bit bad about it. And he realized who I was, he said, after the fact. And he, see how this one? He said he had this one that has a tiny little crack in it right there. And he said, you know what, I'm going to send him the new model instead for the price of the old model. And then he threw this one in on top of it. So how cool was that? Super nice. And so in case I think your name is William. If you're listening out there, that's why I sent the offer, because it was Turner's money. And I wanted him to save a little bit of money. I think we offered $15 less, I think is what we did. And then he did all that for us. So would you like to say thank you to William?
Thank you, William.
So now he's got a couple of bats, and we'll have to save the Commonwealth Comedy for tomorrow. By the way, William, he absolutely loves them. You hit them last night? Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's go play catch. Sold an LU quarter zip right here. $19.95 plus shipping. All right, I totally messed up. I did have one viewer write a message on a purchase, and I'm going to show you what they purchased right here. It's a Disney Scrooge poster, $24 plus shipping. And it's going to, let me just read it here. Hi, I love your channels. Usually watch as soon as you upload. Well, I appreciate that. You're the teacher I loved having in school that just talked and somehow kept it interesting. I didn't just talk, but anyways, thank you for the compliment. I do appreciate that. I really like the poster, and I just wanted to say thank you because you helped me out in so many ways on my store called Callie Loves Cats. I like that. Callie Loves Cats, which I do to support my animal rescue. Well, hey, I appreciate that very much, and I sure hope you enjoy that Scrooge poster. So an old Minolta film camera here. I believe this was like $45 plus shipping for this XG. What is this thing here? $42.95 for a Minolta XG7 camera. I'll take that. I sold an old Merlin phone from the, what was that game called? Wizard or something. I remember it when I was a kid. And I sold this one as is. It was in the death pile. I didn't really want to mess with it. It had no battery back on it at all. And I'm just like, eh. But I put it out there and sold it as is, and we still sold it for $19.95 plus shipping. Then we sold some more Harley pants. We're lotting them up. They're some interesting sizes. These are some women's Harley leather pants, 34.6, pair 2 of them right there for $59.95 plus shipping. All right, Reagan is going to thank some folks who didn't buy from CommonwealthPicker.com today. They bought it from over on DibDitch. Remember the names?
Wesley, Eddie, and Lola.
That's right. Wesley contributed to the Isaiah House fundraiser, and Eddie and Lola got the giant Inaman, which we normally sell out of your store, but this time we sold them out of DibDitch. So thank you very much, Reagan.
Bye, and don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
I just want to show you this really quick. I'm all out of these, but to ship floor mats, that's usually how I do it. Get construction bags and just bag them up. It's like a giant poly bag. That's only costing $13.92 to ship it. All right, so let me know in the comments below what you think about the eBay winter update. Is it the end all and be all for you? Is this the end of you selling on eBay? But you know what? I got 20 more items that got to be shipped out. I might even film it later today, or I might film it tomorrow morning, but there's 20 more items right there. And if they're all over $10, there's another $2 to eBay. Like I said, not the end of the world, but you know, that stuff does add up, and that cost has to be pushed on in some way, shape, or form, either partially or maybe not at all, and you just eat all of the cost, and it just drives up the cost of things a little bit more, and that's kind of the way the world works these days, I suppose. So let me know your comments below, and I appreciate y'all stopping by as always, and I can't wait to see you next time.